hard to say what I want my legacy to be, what I want people to say when I'm long gone. I want people to look at me as a full-on entertainer and a good person.
You know that feeling when you're watching something and a chill just runs down your spine? Like deep down, your gut is screaming that something isn't right? That's exactly what happens when you go back and watch the final months of Aaliyah's life. Not just the interviews, but the music video she left behind, the one that should have been a celebration of her talent. Instead, if you look closely, it feels like a coded warning, a message in a bottle sent from a young woman who realized she was trapped in a room full of smiles that didn't reach the eyes around her. We have spent years mourning the princess of R&B, and we should. She was grace, she was grit, and she was just getting started. But lately, with all the uncomfortable truths bubbling up from the industry's darkest corners, people are rewatching that footage, and a very specific name keeps echoing in the silence after her voice fades: Beyonce.
What's up, what's up? This is Beyonce on the red carpet with one of the hottest female artists out here, Miss Aaliyah. How you doing,
baby?
girl?
It's so good to see you again.
You too. She's just looking fabulous. What are you wearing tonight?
I'm wearing Gucci. Gucci shoes, Gucci. Got a little Indian jewelry working.
Oh, that is hot. All right.
You.
Now, you've been working it with these movies. Were you nervous?
Very nervous, but I'm real happy. It's something I've wanted for a long time, so to finally make that transition.
It sounds crazy on the surface, right? Two queens, two legends. But when you peel back the layers of ambition, obsession, and a very messy love triangle involving Jay-Z, you start to see a picture that the media tried very hard to blur. Aaliyah didn't just die in a plane crash. Some folks believe she tried to warn us about who was waiting to take her throne. And the proof? It's been hiding in plain sight inside her last video for years. To understand the weight of this, we have to go back to a time before the Carters ruled the world, back to the early 2000s when Aaliyah was that girl. She had just dropped her self-titled album, a masterpiece that changed the sound of R&B forever. She was starring in Romeo Must Die. She wasn't just a singer, she was a movement. Cool, quiet, and untouchable. But where there is a queen, there is always a king trying to stand next to her. And that king was a hungry young mogul named Jay-Z.
Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane, to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened.
Now, let's get into the messy stuff. This isn't just gossip. This is about obsession. Damon Dash, who was Aaliyah's boyfriend at the time, has spoken about this. He admitted that when he started dating her, he had no idea that his best friend and business partner, Jay-Z, was also trying to win her heart. Dame Dash told reporters that everybody was trying to get to Aaliyah, but he specifically noted that Jay was going hard. Imagine that for a second. The two men running Rockefeller Records, supposed to be brothers in business, are secretly competing for the same woman. And the one who lost? Jay-Z. Witnesses from industry parties back in the day have described seeing Jay-Z glued to Aaliyah's side, holding her waist, looking at her like she was the only person in a crowded room. People who were there said the chemistry was electric, but also awkward because everyone knew Aaliyah was with Dame. So Jay-Z had to sit back and watch the woman he wanted be with his partner. That kind of rejection burns deep, especially for a man building an empire on winning. Then, whispers started. People like Jaguar Wright came forward claiming that Jay-Z didn't just have a crush. They claimed he actually had an intimate relationship with Aaliyah behind the scenes. Whether you believe that or not, one thing is clear. Beyonce Knowles was watching from the wings, and she was not happy. Sources say Beyonce always felt a certain type of way about Aaliyah, not because of the music, but because she knew Jay-Z's mind was elsewhere.
And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all those records together. They both Aaliyah. They shared so much in common.
While Beyonce was Destiny's Child, she wasn't the solo act yet. Aaliyah was the blueprint, and there is a cruel irony in the meanings of their names. Aaliyah means highest, most exalted one. Beyonce means one who is beyond others. Two women destined to be the best, but in a machine that the old guard insisted could only fit one queen. Here is where the story turns from sad to sinister. August 21st, Aaliyah is in Miami to film the video for Rock the Boat. The director, Hype Williams, has a full setup there. Green screens, crew, beaches, everything is perfect. But then, at the last minute, Hype changes his mind. He insists they pack up and move the entire shoot to the Bahamas. Why? Nobody has ever given a straight answer. Miami wasn't destroyed by a storm. The equipment worked. It just moved. Lenny Kravitz, who has deep family ties in the Bahamas, heard Aaliyah was coming. He offered her his private jet, a safe, reliable plane. But according to Damon Dash, Hype Williams actually took that jet from her. He forced Aaliyah and her team onto a different, smaller aircraft, a Cessna 402, a plane that was reportedly overloaded with luggage and people. Now, listen to this part carefully, because it breaks my heart. Aaliyah was terrified of flying. Everyone knew this. She always flew with her mother or her brother to calm her nerves. But on that day, she was alone. Her family wasn't with her. The crew finished filming early. They were supposed to stay until the 26th, but they rushed to leave on the 25th. Witnesses on the tarmac said Aaliyah looked hesitant. She was hugging everyone tightly, saying she had a bad feeling. She didn't want to get on that plane. But she was young. She was told to trust the team around her. Minutes after takeoff, the plane crashed. It barely got off the ground. Now, here is where the warning comes in. The Rock the Boat video. When you watch it now, knowing what we know, it is haunting. The video is filled with water imagery, drowning visuals. She's on a boat, but she looks like she's struggling. But that's not the warning. The warning was in an interview she gave to a French magazine just weeks before her death. She was asked about a recurring dream, and Aaliyah said this, verbatim. "It's dark in my favorite dream. Someone is after me. I don't know why. I have fear. Then suddenly I lift off. I fly away, far away. No one can reach me. No one can touch me." She called it a wonderful feeling, but said she was alarmed by it. She asked herself, do I want to escape from real life? And then she said, no, I enjoy every second of my fame.
But what I was really more tight about was that I had heard that Lenny Kravitz had offered her a jet and that Hype had took the jet. So that's what really pissed me off about the situation when I heard about that. So you could ask Hype about that.
That's what I said. Have you ever talked to Hype about it?
Yeah.
And how did that conversation go?
Ask him.
But I also am asking you.
Yeah, but ask him.
Think about that. She dreamed that someone was after her, and then she died flying away from a situation that felt rushed, forced, and strange. It's almost like she knew the walls were closing in. Mary J. Blige once spoke about Aaliyah's death with a terror that still shakes me. Mary said that when Aaliyah died, she realized she was next. She said, I don't know what kind of accident they're going to put me in, but I knew I was next. Why would Mary feel that? Because Mary knew the pressure. She knew that if you didn't play the game would remove you. So where is Beyonce in all of this? The conspiracy that won't go away is that Jay-Z, needing to move on from his obsession and secure a new power couple narrative, turned to Beyonce. And in order for the sacrifice to be complete, to close the loop on that era, Blue Ivy had to be born in the same birth month as Aaliyah, January.
I had forgotten that about what happened to Aaliyah.
Right, exactly. I mean, I didn't think about that, but yeah, it's like, here is this guy who was in love with this girl, and now your business partner is doing a project on your label with the guy that essentially raped your girl, and like, yo, what's going on here?
Right.
People have pointed out that the older Blue gets, the more her features resemble the late singer. I know it sounds wild, but the industry has shown us crazier truths. Look at the behavior. Nas once hinted that Jay-Z knew exactly what R. Kelly was doing to Aaliyah when she was underage. He asked, "You gonna tell me Jay didn't see her sit on R. Kelly's lap?" Jay-Z looked the other way, and Beyonce, who was rising like a rocket, also allegedly looked the other way. There was only room for one. Aaliyah was impossible to control. She was soft-spoken, but she had a backbone. Beyonce, at that time, was easier to mold into the industry's image of a superstar. Obedient, polished, marketable. When you watch Aaliyah in that last interview, she has a sadness in her eyes that the lip gloss can't hide. She talks about escaping. She talks about flying away where no one can touch her. She got her wish, tragically. She flew away. But she left us the clues. The emotional impact of this theory, whether you believe it or not, is devastating. It makes you realize that Aaliyah was not just a victim of a random accident. She was a victim of the machine, the same machine that chews up young stars and spits them out. She was a young woman caught between two powerful men, a jealous rival, and a system that saw her as an obstacle rather than an artist. Her family lost a daughter, her brother lost his anchor, and we, the fans, lost a voice that was singing about her own funeral before it even happened. Every time you hear "Rock the Boat," you realize she wasn't just dancing, she was waving goodbye. And that leaves us here, sitting in the dark, questioning everything. Did Beyonce know? Did she participate? Or is she just another pawn who benefited from a tragedy she didn't cause? The truth is probably somewhere in the gray, but one thing is certain. Aaliyah tried to tell us, through her dream, through her lyrics, through the fear in her eyes on that tarmac in the Bahamas. She saw the shadow coming for her. She just didn't think it would arrive in the form of a broken plane. So, the next time you see Beyonce on a throne or Jay-Z smiling in an interview, remember the girl who said someone was after her. Remember the video shot in a hurry in a foreign country. Remember the name meanings. And ask yourself, did the queen who sits on the throne today get there by talent alone? Or did she inherit a seat that was cleared by something much darker than a management change? Aaliyah left us a warning. It's time we finally started listening to it. What do you really think happened on that island? Let me know in the comments, because the silence has gone on long enough.